welcome everybody. Now, hopefully the audio is okay. It's going to switch in a minute anyway, if it isn't. So, no worries if not. It's going to be a quiet one tonight, I think, because Phil he hasn't contacted us yet, has he, Mike? He came on a little bit earlier and said he'll try and come on, but he might turn up halfway through the show. I don't know. But let's all channel our beardism or something. I don't know. What can we call it, Mike?
I'm not sure, to be honest.
He may turn up. If not, it's me and Mike. Rachel was going to be on as well, and unfortunately she is out at the moment. She might turn up again later on along with Phil, so we will see on that one as well. But yeah, everyone's going to put up with me and Mike tonight. So I'm going to try and get through the chat as much as possible while working on things. Ed Grexetic, thank you for subscribing. Don't know why it's doing that. Why is it going over 2 lines? I don't know. Anyway, we're going to start with 2 things, really, that we're to start off the show. One of them's an announcement, which is next week we're going to do our live show on the Tuesday rather than Wednesday. So there's different reasons for that. One of them, and we'll go over this because me and Phil are going to be doing a channel update as soon as we can anyway. When Phil's better, we're going to meet up and do that. But one of the reasons we're going to try a Tuesday is because it's better for us in terms of filming for battle reports. At the moment, we only have a Sunday and a Monday where we can actually go and film battle reports. Whereas if we can go on a Wednesday night, it means we've got a third day of the week which is opened up for filming. So we wanted to maybe switch the day anyway. On top of that, I don't think there's many people who do shows on the Tuesdays, and all I'm seeing at the moment is every channel under the sun making live shows on a Wednesday evening. So it just frees up some more space, and we're not too fussed, to be honest, about switching over to another day. There was a third reason. I don't know what the third reason was. But yeah, we're going to have more live shows anyway, so it's not exactly a bad thing. So next Tuesday it will be 9 o'clock, like our normal timings. I've already put up the show on the channel page. So if you go back to the channel part of the website of the YouTube channel, you can set a notification and then it will let you know when we're live. But that's next Tuesday. Second thing, we're going to go to look at Wargamer Online Chronicles, or WGO Chronicles. So we're going to take a look at that first of all. But before we do that, shall we have a look who's in the chat, Mike?
Yeah, let's do it.
There's been a lot of people turning up early again. I think it's one of those things now when, we've got a disliker. Oh, yeah. No, it's all right. Phoenix Risen said disliked for the lack of beard. You know what, Phoenix? I'm doing my best to try and grow a beard. I know it's nowhere near the level of Phil, and it's a little bit rednecky. And we all know that I'm half ginger, so I can't do much about that. Third reason you don't want me there, because Tuesday is the night I coach the female football team of my local club. Oh dear. If that's on till 9 o'clock, then maybe yes. However, like I said, we're going to try it. We'll see what happens. It's a test, and if we can do shows on a Tuesday rather than a Wednesday, it helps us out and lets us have more time for doing battle reports. If it doesn't work, then that's fine. We'll switch it back, and we've always got our Monday musings and hobby hangouts on a Friday as well, so it's not a problem. Patrick Metzger, and it took Sam 3 years to get there. Thank you, Patrick. Yes, it does take me a long time to grow a beard because I am not as manly as most other men. Talking about battle reports, actually, we're going to try and film one on Sunday or Monday, aren't we, again? And I think we're maybe going to do an Age of Sigmar one because it feels like a while since we've done Age of Sigmar, doesn't it?
Yes. I think when me and you last played, it was some time ago.
I know I did. I've done 2 games of 40k, and you've done 2 games as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I just want to play some Age of Sigmar again. The only problem I've got is, are people getting bored of seeing my Iron Jaws? And do I need to go out and buy another army? Because I was waiting until elves and humans popped up, and I could buy them. But it looks like they're going to be a bit of a further way out. So now I'm thinking I might just buy a different army to tide me over until they're released. Or I just keep playing Iron Jaws.
It's going to take you a while though to get another army done though, because once you finish them custodians, you're going to move straight on to the Black Dragons. And if you're thinking of doing another fantasy one as well, you'd still be looking at a while away before you'd even be ready to do it anyway.
I don't sleep though, so it's fine. We'll fit in the time. Hopefully we'll film that for this Sunday or Monday, and then I'll get that edited ready for next Sunday when that's going to be released. Anyway, let's have a look through the chat. Get some KOs. I'd like to see you paint them. KOs. Wood Elves army. See, that's the army I was waiting for, Akaria. I've said it's either elves or humans. They're the ones I'm doing next, whichever one's released. I'm not going to do High Elves if they're released, because that's Rachel's next army, so she'll do Seraphon and High Elves. But I will do Wood Elves, Dark Elves, or the Empire equivalent, Free Peoples, which is what Ryan's just said, Ryan Benfield. Right, let me go to the top, and then we'll get through to the bottom. I'm going to try and do this as fast as possible, and then we will go onto Facebook and look at WGO Chronicles and all the updates that's gone on there, and then I'm going to paint some bases. Right, let me get to the top, because there's already questions coming. Oh, Caradron Overlords. Yeah, I can't do that. Phil's doing them, unfortunately, Ralph. Right, let me do this before.
Phil bagged that a while ago.
Yeah. Right, Armour Freak was here first, although somebody else was here at 1 in the afternoon, I believe, waiting for the show, so Armour Freak might have been second. Elster Nation. We have... yeah, Surreal isn't here. We're going to talk about that in a moment, Phoenix, because I'm not happy. What else do we have? We have Karanis, welcome Karanis. Sindri Tepic, welcome. Stalker 40k. Excessive Magnetization, Julian Farnham. Vaughan Killian, welcome Vaughan. We have Akaria, who's fastly approaching moderator status, I think. I think we're going to have to up him. He's moderating Facebook, but we haven't got any moderators on YouTube yet. And I think he's in line for that. Rower, welcome Rower. Felhate, I've already said Felhate. If I have, then you get 2, but welcome Felhate. Tabletop Painting, I think that's a new name. Welcome to the chat. And if anybody else is new today and hasn't said hello, say hello, and we'll say hello back, and you can join in any sort of conversation that goes off here. We have Ralph Hummel. We have Adrian Trevor. Phoenix Risen. He's been with us a few weeks now, I think. Definitely been in the chat more often. Ronnie Dodd, welcome. How do? I wonder if that's one from Luke. Because Luke's APS obviously came on the chat on Wednesday, and since then we've seen a resurgence of how-dos. But welcome, Ronnie. Oh, holy moly. Holy sweet. Jesus moly. Patrick Metzger donated £50. Keep up your great work. Even so, I do not enjoy 40k so much. Where has that gone? Hold on. I'm going to have to stop the chat. I do not enjoy 40k so much. I love how you present your battle reports, and you should consider another subscription level. Yes, let me go through the rest of the names, Patrick, and then we'll talk about that as well, because we've had a brief look about it on the last show, or one of the last shows, but we have some plans for that. But thank you very much for donating that, Patrick. It is much appreciated. Wow. Okay. Where was I? Ralph Hummel. Where else? Thomas Hooper sets notifications, ignores notification, then panics. G Steeler 11. Ryan Benfield. Onslaught. Oh no, it's gone. It's done it again. It's skipped. Onslaught. Devonhoff Felix. Blade of Templar. We have Steve Smallworld. Welcome. I've just got back to Patrick's comment about me growing a beard, taking 3 years to grow a beard, so that's nice. Rick Vaz, welcome. Frank Storm, Tim Lawrence, welcome. UK Pagan, Orc Boys, the Orc Boys, Dark Elf Dave, we've got loads, and Thomas Hooper. So, right, let's start with Mike. You're going to have to try and keep me on topic and know what I've said I'm going to go over. So
okay, I will try. We'll
talk about the subscription level for Patrick first of all. So
yeah,
we've said that we're going to add at least one more level to the website. So we've got the premium already. You pay £3 a month for that, and that gives you access to everything currently available, which is like your extra battle reports and premium tutorials and so forth. The next thing we're looking at doing is increasing it so you can pay more to us, but again, we're trying to give something back. So we're trying to get something together where we can give models away, even if it's only quarterly. We can give a model away or something limited, like the Phil model that has been made by Wordforge Games, or something limited and unique that we can give back to subscribers on that extra level. So that's something we're looking into. And on top of that, we're looking at doing some shows, some chats and things, which are solely for the premium members, and then the next level up. So we're looking at trying to do that almost on, get the website on. Okay, we'll talk about that as well. Almost like Patreon sort of levels. You have your different tiers of levels. You pay for that, and then you get something back. And on top of that, we want to do more giveaways. But again, to everyone who's supporting us on the premium or the next level after that, we'll do probably monthly giveaways. But it could be a big box. It could be like a £50 or £60 box, and we'll pick one of our members from that listings at random, and then send that out, and we'll pay the postage on that as well, wherever you are in the world. So things like that, we're looking at different ideas and what we can do for membership levels. So Ralph's just said, get the website onto a faster server. It is not very responsive at times, and I completely agree. We've looked at, I have nothing to do with the website other than uploading it. That is all Phil's work, basically, setting that up and working out technology, because he's a genius compared to me.
Because I think it has got faster since it initially went up, though. So it has got quicker at one point, but you could still be going up a bit more, can't it?
Yeah, I mean, there's different plugins as well. So the plugins that have been put on there to try and increase it, I think it's the size of the pages. When you generate a page, there's a load of images, and then it slows it down. So we need to look at doing that. But again, it's not cheap. So we're already paying for. We're paying for a studio. We're paying for the Vimeo. We're paying for our accounts on there to upload that sort of stuff. We've got the website costs and the hosting already that we've got, and then all of our supplies, all of the money that we're getting through premium memberships and all of the donations and things like that are going to fund all of that immediately. So, when we can afford to upgrade to the next level of internet hosting, that will be the priority, so that we can increase the website. We would like it to be fast, so that you can click on something or search something and it immediately loads, and you don't have to wait 15 or 10 seconds or something for a page to load. And that's, unfortunately, at the moment, we're very early on. We're still 6 months in, and we're learning this whole business at the same time. So we're doing our best on that, but we definitely take that feedback on board. Phoenix Risen saying signed Magic Mike photos would be nice. Frost and Fist has joined. Welcome. Hey there, beautiful people. I wonder if that actually works. Oh wow, it does. Look at that. I've got all these fancy. This is me not knowing technology, and I'm trying all sorts out to make this flashy and fancy. But now donations actually go across the bottom of the screen as well as being in the top right. There's going to be all sorts of flashy things going up on these soon. I'm going to be a pro. So Frost and Fist says, hey there, beautiful people. Hey there, Mythos. Ralph saying, I would think it's more a question of host to bandwidth limitations. I'm not very technical, Ralph, so you might need to explain that in very basic terms for me, in terms of what that means. Somebody starts talking about servers, and I zone out. Thor the Limited Caladize in, and the first thing he says is, so when is Mike's first solo show?
I don't think this is going to go away, is it?
Not until you do one. I might just have to leave you on one day and just walk away.
What, just leave me rambling?
Leave you rambling, yeah. But you're going to have to be on camera, and you're going to have the chat up so that you can actually respond to people. That's the way it's going to have to go.
I think I'll consider doing it. I'd just be very nervous about doing it, because I'm not the greatest on chats as it is. I'm not known for talking loads.
Have you seen me? Well, I can talk, but I'm not very good on the chats.
Yeah. But I think it's something we'll possibly look into. I'm not going to promise anything, but we might look into it.
Okay, well, that's fine. We'll work that out. We'll get you on. Joe Scoville has joined. Welcome, Joe. And Kiblams. Ahoy, ahoy, I'm late. No problem at all. To be fair, we've not even gone to the Facebook part and me even faffing around with bases yet, so you're not late in terms of this. We have... So, Ryan Benfield, has anyone here got one thing from GW and then got two? As in, have you been sent two of the same thing, or did you buy 2 without realising? Because I've never been sent 2 when I've only ordered 1. That sounds like you're onto a winner. Thomas Hooper, if the screen doesn't look like a Year 11's PowerPoint presentation, then there are still things to learn. When you go around to Phil's house and he gets the whiteboard out and starts doing diagrams and things, you know you're in for a lecture. And normally it's about change management or something like that. All of those text animations. Yeah, look at this. We've got, in the top right, we've got something popping up there. The latest donations in red. And I think the scroll thing's disappeared now. Oh no, it's back. It's just disappeared for a second. I don't know what I'm doing. Akaria, Mike, you did really well on the impromptu solo talking about Ultramarines and the Gilliman sword. See, people love it so much, Mike, they want it back.
I don't think people. Well, I think surely people must have seen how terrified it was, because it's like going back to it for anyone that wasn't there when it happened. You had some shopping arrive in the middle of a chat, and it's like, yeah, I've got to go, Mike. Can you take over? It's like, okay. And the thing is, obviously, I thought I was on screen for that entire segment of that, and I can't see because I'm doing everything on my phone as far as Hangouts go. I can't see the chat, and anything you guys are seeing on screen, I can't see any of that. So I went into full-on panic mode, which would have been quite funny for anyone that was watching live at the time. But for me, it was a horrible thing to happen.
It was funny though. It's one of those moments that won't go away, and I think that Wayne and Garth comment is just going to stay with you for the rest of your life now.
Yeah.
Else Nation's offered. He says you can come on one of my chillin' chats if you want some practice, Mike. So there you go. There's an offer straight away.
Cool.
You can join Elster Nation. Sean Jewett saying, "Evening, boys. You're on in the background. Lots to sort out." Not a problem, Sean. Glad to have you on board, and thank you for checking in. Ralph saying, "You won't be worse than me. Trust me." Sindri Tepic, "I need that 1,000,000,000-ton iceberg from Antarctica. So hot here." It's cooler here. I'm very happy that it's getting back down to being cool again. Mike could go to Sam's place to do a show while Sam does hobbying. We have talked about that, haven't we, Mike?
Yeah, I think if it's going to happen, that's probably the most likely way that we're going to do it.
And I'll be your tech guy, like I was Rachel's tech guy last Friday.
Yeah, if you thought Rachel was bad with keeping up with the chat, I think I'll be even worse on that.
Yeah.
I think the entire show will be, Sam, help me. Sam, help me.
But I reckon by the end of like a week or two of you doing it, you'll be like the Matrix. You know when you see in the Matrix, they're reading the code on the screen, the little dudes that send them into the Matrix. You'll be like that, just reading code like an absolute monster. Reading out the chat like no tomorrow. Is the beard still in immense pain, says Frost and Fist. I know back pain is something that didn't heal quickly yet. He's been in pain for quite a while, and obviously this week, last weekend he was in hospital, so it's not gone away instantly. He's on a lot of medication, which is why he was to-ing and fro-ing about whether he's going to be joining us or not. He may just pop up halfway through the chat. Let's just cross our fingers and see, but to be fair, he just needs to get better again, so we can all channel our goodwill towards him.
Yeah, he's meant to be relaxing and everything at the minute, isn't he?
Armour Freak says you could try applying some liquid courage before starting a stream, Magic Mike, but you don't do liquid courage, do you?
No, just cups of tea.
Cups of tea, that's your liquid courage. Green Stuff Games, hey Pete's, welcome. Akaya says, I know Kung Fu, #Matrix. Quickfire Mike, Quickfire, soon to be heard constantly. That will be your new nickname, Quickfire Mike. You've got so many nicknames. You're soon becoming the new Chuck Norris of the hobby world.
Well, I think it's a bit extreme.
Magic Mike. I knew Kung Fu. I think we should write a book on this. The Book of Mike. I can't believe that Patrick's donated £50. That's just ridiculously awesome. What am I doing? Right, let's get onto Facebook. How do I do this? Browser? I can't see all the comments yet, but there we go. Alright, so we got Wargamer Online Community. Let's see. Let's do hashtag again. Hashtag. Oh, now I've done it again. Hashtag WGO Chronicles. Ralph Hummel. Phil needs a thermal cure for his back. Seriously, I think he's got the most back pain fixing remedies in the world and they don't work. Mike, from Stalker 40k Mike, just need to find a topic you are passionate about, like that might help you with finding stuff to say. I would struggle doing a solo show, but it might help to start with. Most definitely, Mike. We'll talk about... What did you talk about? Pokemon Go. We could do Pokemon Go. We could do...
Oh, I don't know enough on that sort of thing.
We could do salamanders.
Once again, don't know enough.
What do you know a lot of?
Not a lot, really.
Oh, okay.
I tend to butterfly with everything. It's like I'll remember like small bits and stuff, but never remember everything.
Armor Freak says when all else fails, just talk about how great Kato Sicarius is. Greatest of all the Ultramarines. Right, what have we got? Let's do posts from... Is it public posts? No, it's from groups, isn't it? Posts from your groups. Right, Cliff Leonard with his wonderful Poxwalkers. I'm loving these, and his bases were the first thing he started with, but they look great. Loads of detail on these models. And same as every week, I'm going to go through as many as I can before I go on to the next bit, because we're already, 15, 20 minutes in, and we've not even started doing any hobby, so I'm going to go through as much as I can. Kiblams has just posted this before we went live, or during while we were live. So he's working on all of his Talos. He's still further than me on his Chronicles.
Well, technically you're doing 2 though, aren't you?
I'm doing a 2,000-point one rather than just 1,000, and then I've got my own 1,000 points to do. So if I get the 2,000 points done, I'll be happy. But they're not mine; they're Rachel's.
I think if you get both armies done, I think you win.
Sean Stewart says, I know he's busy and he's got stuff to do, but he's come back to the keyboard just to let you know that strip dancing would be a good topic for you to talk about, Mike.
I thought you were on about me actually doing that on the stream. But right.
I mean, that's something that you do. That's part of Premium Plus, isn't it? Bernard Jackson II. Thank you for subscribing, Bernard. Will Phil be installed into the Dreadnought so can continue to serve? That's from Robbie Cohen. That is a brilliant idea. I'm going to put him as my Primaris Dreadnought dude. Tea tasting with WGO Mike. Yeah. Armor Freak. They're talking about the greatest Ultramarine. Frost and Fists. Magic Mike. I like how he can't just be called Mike anymore. He's put hashtag Magic Mike and Luke need to pose together for a calendar. You'll sell a ton and be able to buy all the ice creams. That's awesome, because I think ice creams just went up in price where we live, which is still, they were more expensive than our subscription to the website anyway. Now they've gone up even more. I think our subscription is, what? I don't even know, I can't even work out percentages. I think the ice creams today were like £4.50 or something for ice cream.
Really?
Yeah. Like,
where did you go?
That was just an ice cream van. You know, like a normal van. And it was like, can I have a 99 flake? That used to be 99p, and this thing was just like £4.50, please. that was for the large, but I think the normal one, which is normal or large, there was only 2 options. I think the normal one was like £3 anyway, or £3.50 or something. Anyway, let's keep going. Sean Olsen, cracking on with his Raven Guard. Needs to do mine. So many black Primaris Marines out there. Need to see which one I actually want to do. Matt Dell working on his Blood Angels. That's the new captain. Converted, that's a nice conversion on that. Simple head swap. Don't know, I think everything else is the same actually. But yeah, it's amazing what a head swap can do.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's really cool. Gianni Verta got a bunch of bits, so they're getting started. Reavers, 4 boxes of them, as well as 2 more boxes of Intercessors. Although it might have been cheaper just to buy... Oh no, it wouldn't, actually. Because I bought the first strike, but I need to finish that unboxing tonight, actually. Oh, wow. People, great work, WGO team, halfway there in donations for a Dread Saurian Sam. Akaya's just dropped 20 quid as well.
Nice.
Jeez. Thank you very much, Akaya. And don't tell Rachel that we're halfway towards a Dread Saurian. Patrick will like it, actually, to be fair, because Patrick loves AOS. So in terms of actually what we would release in content, he would love the fact that we would have a Dreadsaurian on the way, because Rachel would be playing her Seraphon over and over and over again. And somebody else just subscribed as well, but I didn't quite get the name. I apologise. It's gone forever. Simon Minford. So he's working on a Demon Host. I think that's what they were called. Not said it, but I'm sure they were called Demon Hosts. Nice little model. Doom Crawler from Frank Storm. I love the Doom Crawler model, and he's done a great, making sure you spray them or paint them separately, because it's so much easier to do that in sub-assemblers. Right, Ryan, you've got 2 minutes before I go off this. So tag me into your post. Just put that at Sam Stocks, and then I will see yours before we go off. Akibam says, I have progress for the first time. Hurrah, yes. But is his progress? Marlborough says, I'm way behind on my WGO Chronicles army, but I have a week off to catch up. Oh, you're definitely going to catch up. And Ralph is going to put us in the background while he slaves on a little more. No problem, Ralph. To be fair, most people can just sit and listen to me and Mike when I let him speak. Shut up, Mike. Stop laughing.
Okay.
Patrick Metzger, yes, it's a cool model, but the new Corn Dragon thing will be even better until there will be finally elves with dragons. I know. Patrick, I'm saying this now, 100%. Whenever the elves are out, it's got to be dark elves or the wood elves. It can't be high elves because they're Rachel's. So either way, whenever elves are coming out, we're getting them for the channel. And the humans, either or, I'll be doing them. But that Corn Dragon is insane. I was almost tempted to buy Smaug, but obviously that's like, you have to sell a kidney to get Smaug, so that's never going to happen. However, the Corn thing is probably worth selling somebody else's kidney to get. And we know Liam, he's very up for selling his kidneys for models, isn't he, Mike?
Oh, definitely.
Bombird, Sam, I have a massive box of lizard men. If it would help you guys out, you are welcome to them. Oh, that's awesome, Bombird. You have to let us know. I mean, if you're not using them, we can definitely use anything for the channel, to be honest. Armies, we're trying to get a bunch of armies that are different as well, so that we've got more variety. Because like I said, my army at the minute for Age of Sigmar is Ironjaws. So everyone's watching me play Ironjaws over and over again, which is fine because we can do different scenario battle plans and we can play different armies against each other. But it gets to the point where you've seen everything. So it would be nice to have more variation in the armies that we've got. And even if we just start with like 1,000-point forces and then build it up afterwards, that won't be an issue either. I need the week, mate. I'm so far behind. 3 Marines completed so far. That's still 3 Marines more than me, Marlborough.
Is that for the Chronicles?
Yeah.
I don't. What are any of us on the WGO side of it? Are any of us on track?
You?
I'm still not sure.
Yeah.
It's a difficult one to tell because I'm trying to do what you were doing with batching the entire thing in one go. I'm not 100% because there's still quite a bit to go.
Yeah.
How far through is Pink now?
He's nailed his out, actually, to be fair. So.
What, is he finished?
No, he's not finished, but he's done all the base coats. He's onto edge highlighting. He's doing quite a lot. So he's doing a really good job. Used to just watch, but upgraded to Infinity 2, so Wi-Fi reaches the man cave now. That's awesome, the Orc boys. Armor Freak, my spider senses tell me a bunch of elf releases when Total War Warhammer 2 drops. That would be amazing. I'd be definitely up for that. The Hairy Painter saying, I did offer to paint up a few small armies for you guys. Yep, that's fair enough. The only problem is we've not had armies to send you at the moment, so much appreciated for the offer. And the other thing is, Phil's very much, he can play with any army he wants, can't he? You give him an army and he'll play it. But I feel like I have to, and Rachel's the same actually. So for Rachel and Phil, I think you're very much like me, Mike. You prefer to play with your own army that you painted, and I don't even know what it is.
Well, that's the one thing in the hobby. So some people where they really enjoy the painting side on the hobby is any armies that they would use. Obviously, they'd always they tune it was an army that they painted themselves. But then there's others that are only really interested in the gaming, so therefore would love to have it. The army comes already painted and everything like that.
Mm-hmm. And I think for the channel, having extra armies that are painted ready to use is definitely something that will help us out. So having people offer to paint stuff is awesome. So that definitely would help us out. We just need to have armies to be painted. So at the minute, I've got my Rachel's Custodians and my, what are they called? Primaris, but they're both going to be done by me. The only other armies we've got that aren't painted are all of Phil's. So Phil's got his Caradon Overlord, he's got Harlequins, he's got some Dark Angels, he's got numbers and numbers of armies that need painting. But again, it's whether he wants to paint them in at some point down the line, or whether we just get them done for the channel so we've got more armies. I'm not sure which way it's wanted to be done. Ralph says he loves the painting, hates the building. Go figure. Yeah, some people I actually prefer building to painting, which is weird.
See, on the building front for me, if it's easy enough, then I can get on with it and I'm all right with it. But there's some things that I find awkward. Like, let's say, for instance, just doing marine arms. It's because there's 3 parts to it, and it's try and get it all lined up and all that lot, and it drives me insane.
Yeah, it's not easy at times. That's why I like these new easy to build kit. Simple. Blade of Templar, almost finished my Gravis Captain to get into the Chronicles before it ends. Better late than never. Devonhoff Felix is saying, a bit late to the party, could someone explain what WGO Chronicles is in the chat? But I don't think anyone's answered. So it's a project to get 1,000 points or a 50 power point army done before the end of July. And that's not like a set in stone deadline, but what we will do is probably a show dedicated to Wargamer Online Chronicles, where we go through the Facebook group, or anybody's got YouTube videos, we'll go through those and just show them on one of our live streams, and we'll probably do a separate one just for the Chronicles.
Yeah, because even if you're not finished by the time the deadline's up, you can still post on the Facebook group so everyone can see how you're getting on, or even if you've finished army and stuff. So yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about having it done completely on time. It's just more to give that boost to everyone, that everyone's sort of doing it at the same sort of time, so you're not alone building an army up and getting it all painted and ready for games. Or if you're just painting up to just go in a cabinet or something, it just gives you that extra push.
Yeah. Bombard, I'd give my left nut for someone just to paint my armies for me. That's awesome, Bombard. Well, there's plenty of commission painters out there. I think the Hairy Painter does commission as well. There's quite a lot. Obviously, there's like Siege Studios. Blue Table Painting are doing an offer at the moment with us. That's on our website. They're doing, I think it's like 10 or 15% discount off a normal army. That's American as well, and he's really, he's been doing it for years. So he's worldwide renown is there for commission painting. You've also got Elster Nation, who does the same. There's probably too many to name, so I apologise if I've missed them.
There's quite a few, and I think there's a lot of them that do post on the Facebook group as well.
Mm-hmm. And with the Blue Table Painter, by the way, when we don't get commission every time we mention it, but me and Rachel in particular watched Sean for a long time, and what he has done is create a business around commission painting that has grown to be one of the biggest, if not the biggest. I'm going to read that comment in a minute as well, Bombard. Commission studios. So the turnaround is quality. The setup is got so many different pricing lists so that it's fair for you as well as realistic. So you know what you're going to be getting. But yeah, just have a look around at all the different commission painters and see what you can do. Bombard says, does he take nuts for payment? And again, that's down to your negotiating skills, Bombard. All down to that. Oh no, I've missed Frost and Fist. I'll have to have a look in a moment. Thordan DeCalad, I love building, gets the creative flowing conversion wise, then my painting usually messes things up and they get moved over for a new army or team and it all repeats. Yeah, that's exactly the same for me. And then we've got talking about, I think Frost was asking about how to line up those double arm, the arms for the guns and stuff. And Stalker said, I find swearing a lot at the bolter arms helps a lot. If it doesn't help practically, it helps you mentally. Karia, Blue Table Painting has been running for over a decade now, I think. Yes, I think it has. It's like I say, it's been one of the biggest and longest running commission studios in the world. So quality and the quantity that he can get out, that studio is ridiculous. They do full armies. They're not like 1,000 points like I would paint, and that would grind my gears to do. He does a full chapter in like a week or 2 weeks or something. Harry Painter saying I charge a little bit more than both nuts. Right, let's keep going. We've got Jamie finishing Turner's Librarian, which is really cool. It's kind of like the Assassin's Creed colour scheme, as well as Grey Knight's, a little bit of a mix in there. Frank Storm again with this guitar. I'm just going to go through these now because we're going behind. We've got Mythos's awesome Minotaurs. Tyranny Dude, commission painters are fine and all, but I need money. That's fair enough. It's more of an option, really, I think, at the end of the day. I think if it's something you can do, you take it. Ethos used the Shapeway shoulder pads as well. Still need to get my Black Dragon started so I can show them off. But that's the Shapeway shoulder pads for the Minotaurs. Quite nice. Sean again. Eddie Brennan with his... what are they called? Gilded Lions, I think they were called. Oh, it is Gilded Lions, it says it there. Chris Elliott with his Death Corps. We can keep going and going and going. John Noose as well. I think we're back to where we saw the other day. Tim Lawrence, yeah. There we go. Okay. Oh, there's a Travis Captain dude as well, though. And then Ryan Benfield mentioned me in a comment. So this will be it. Built 20 conscripts. Yeah, good luck getting them painted, mate. I can't remember what colour scheme you've done. I can't remember if it was an orangey or a red cloth, or that might have been somebody else's. I just remember seeing that recently. Robbie Cohen. I have 3 armies at 80% completed at 2,000 points each. I never have time or I get distracted by new armies. But might try to get Blood Angels done for WGO. It's cool. That's the idea, it's to encourage people to get stuff done. Ralph Hummel painting is to relax me after a busy day translating. That would be, yeah, good thing to do. I can't even speak one language, let alone more than one, Ralph, so fair play to you. It's getting dark now.
Too dark to read out, I'm guessing?
I don't know. Bombard, in reply to Harry saying it would cost you more than 2 nuts, it said, Harry, it's a shame you're not married to Madonna. The wife's on holiday at the moment, so it would be an ideal time to lose one of the kids. The fact that he would sell a child to pay for his army says, I mean, the dedication is there, but I don't know if that's right. Well, look, I accidentally hovered over Phil, so even if he's not here on the chat, he's here in spirit. All right, let's get on with the show. I'm going to move now behind me to that desk, and we're going to see what I'm working on, which is not anything exciting, and I don't actually know what I'm going to be doing with it. So you can see the absolute mess up that I'm going to make as a live stream, which is awesome. But keep asking your questions, and we'll just carry on the chat. I think we've gone over the stuff we wanted to initially.
Mm-hmm.
I just need to make sure this works. So the sound will change, I think, but we'll have to see. Can you hear me, Mike?
Yes, I can hear you.
Can everybody on the stream hear me? Now this is the difference between 2 microphones, so you'll have to let me know what it is actually like. Okay, so what am I doing? Yesterday I finished 2 more of the heads for the custodians. I'm going to finish the 3rd one tonight, and that is all of them done. So I think most people have seen these last night, but they are tiny little heads. So that was the one that I finished the other week when we were on a hobby hangout. It's quite shiny because of the light. You can put Mike in the bubble. I can put Mike in the bubble, but he's not even on camera, so it seems like a waste.
Thanks.
There we go. So that's how. Well, it is a waste if you're not there. If it's just like a blue portrait thing, it's just not cool. This guy was cool. I was quite happy I managed to get his eyes lined up. I finished him head last night. I've tried to keep the same sort of green pipes on these as well. You have a slight echo. Oh dear. Maybe I could move the other microphone across, but that might cause more issues. Let me know if it's horrendous. And I'll try it. I'll try changing it. And then we've got this guy, which was from a Grey Knight set.
So you've done all your heads separately, haven't you, to the actual body?
Da-da-da. Yeah, there's 3 of them at the minute, and then I've got the last one to do.
See, I'm thinking I should have probably done that with... Because I think at this minute in time, for definite, there's only the librarian where I've really got to worry about doing a face on. And possibly, I'm going to do both head versions for Gilliman.
Yeah.
But Gilliman's is separate, though, so I can swap them out. But I am thinking I probably should have done that for the librarian. He's doing exactly how you've done it.
I think for me, it's just easier to actually hold the model. You know, like if it's only for the custodians that I would normally bother it with, or you know, like a character or something. I see the custodians as a character, each one of them. So that's why I've done it. What have we got on the chat?
Because I have a bad habit when it comes to painting is that I have my hands, fingers all over the model, and I can't help it. It's just I find it quite comfortable to paint that way. I try not to make sure I'm not like holding them too tight that I'm going to be rubbing any paint off and stuff, but it's just a bad habit that I can't seem to get out of just because I feel so comfortable with doing it.
Yeah. Is it just me with the echo, says Ralph? I don't know. It could be the microphone. I'm sorry. What else have we got in the chat? 20 conscripts down, 180 go.
Oof.
Nearly pre-ordered, this is from the Orc Boys, nearly pre-ordered the new Primaris and Nurgle stuff, then saw First Strike, all the models, 25 quid. Yeah, that's what we grabbed the First Strike and 1 box of Reavers for now, so that's what I've got in my list. But I'm definitely going to add more to it. I can hear you, Sam and Mike. Thank you, Akari, for checking. Tim Lawrence is saying yes, and the Hairy Painter is saying yes. I don't know what that is in reference to. That was after Thor.
I don't know. I don't know if that's to do with the echo. Like if they can hear the echo as well or not, maybe.
They could probably hear us. No, that was when I says, can you hear us all right? That'll be that. Ralph says, we're not back to head painting the game this evening, are we? We are not. We are on to base painting. Yeah. One thing I need to decide is which one of these AK Interactive washes I want to use. So what I'm thinking is, this is as Andrew does spray. I'm going to do a Shabty dry brush. Then I'm going to do a Screaming Skull dry brush. And then the option after that is probably just to put one of these washers on it and then remove the excess. So this will darken it down quite a bit, but I don't think I've even used these that often, so I don't know what they come out like. But we've got Fresh Mud, we've got Earth Effects, and we've got Dark Mud. And the wash that I normally use for bases is called Summer Kursk Earth, which is the best AK Interactive wash in the world, even though I've not used them all. I'm saying that right now anyway. But I'm just trying to go out of my comfort zone at the moment. So I'm quickly going to dry brush all of these up with the Shabty and then Screaming Skull, and then I'm going to chuck some washes on it and use the White Spirit to remove the excess. Ryan Benfield saying I really want the mats from the new boxes to make a 4x8 board. There's whatever mat you get with the First Strike, you can have mine, Ryan. Contact me after the show on Facebook. Just give me your details and I'll try and get it sent out to you. I don't know how big, actually. It might be quite big, but I'll get it sent whenever, because I'm not going to use it because we've got the boards. So you can have ours if you wanted that one from First Strike. Let me know. Akari, a nice variety of skin tones. Who knew custodians were equal opportunities employers? Hashtag for the Emperor. Yes, he's a very nice guy. I know a lot of people think the Emperor is a big evil demigod or a god, but he looks after his custodians. And with the universe being as diverse as it should be, I think there should be some more diverse skin colours, skin tones, so that's what we've done. Harry Painter, you should see my miniature holder for painting, so damn cool. There's quite a lot of those really nice miniature paint holder things. I generally do everything on cork, so for my general painting, just a cork like that is more than good enough, because I don't touch the model anyway.
I have tried it on things like that, and I can do it. I think I find that it's just a lot more comfortable for me doing it that way.
Yeah. The holders are good. Phil picked up one of them, and he swears by it. But I've got this Vallejo pigment pot with a bit of blue tack on it, and it's good for the job. It's probably not ideal. It won't be as good as the miniature holder, but it does the job for now.
Mm.
And if I'm going to invest money, I'll invest it in more paints or brushes or something like that first. You need that holder I have, Nick. Who's Nick? Unless he's talking about you, Mike.
Possibly.
Devon Hoff Felix, how does a gamer ethically balance supporting their LGS and deal hunting like on eBay, for example? Okay. Got some options on audio. I've been faffing with audio kablams. I'll have a look, but I can't. It's been set to all sorts of settings. It never seems to bloody work. Annoying. So buying stuff on eBay. I think the realistic thing is, can you afford to buy it from a shop, and how often are you there? And I used to work as a manager at a GW, and all of my customers, or most of my customers, have the same dilemma. They go, I really want to support the store. I want to support you as a manager. I want to keep this store open, and I want to pay back a little bit more because obviously the shop is open for playing games, and you want to try and help out that store basically. So you can definitely understand the dilemma between saving money for yourself but also helping out your local store. And I think it's just down to yourself as an individual. If you're at your local store every single week, or fairly regularly, I would probably say just buy as much as you can from them. And to the point where
you mean as in if you're going every week and you're playing games, using the table, using painting spots and stuff, yeah,
exactly. Because it's a personal preference thing. That's all it is. I would personally prefer to support a store that I know and that I use over saving myself some money, because it's always better to have a local store. I think independents definitely have it harder because the GWs are more likely to be around for longer. But the problem with that is obviously they cycle through managers. So if you like your manager and you think they do an awesome job, then do what you can to keep them there. If you're not too fussed, then just buy as much as you think is good enough. I think it's it. Nobody can tell you that you're spending too little or too much at a store. It's down to your own personal preference. But I do understand, because the discounts can be quite huge. And it was the same with computer games. I worked at a computer game store before I worked at Games Workshop, and it was the same thing there. People would come in and say, "Oh, I'm going to go and buy this online for like £5 or £10," and you'd be like, "Yeah, no problem. I can understand, because we're selling it for 40 or 50." And you could pick it up for 20 or 30 from somewhere else. But again, you'd have customers that would go out of their way to buy it from you because they liked coming to see you every week. They just preferred service. So do you pay for service? Do you pay for...
But do like gaming stores and stuff like that, like let's say for instance Game, do they take as big a hit though if people are doing that over like a GW store and stuff?
If every store does it, yeah, that's the whole point, isn't it, really? Although GW will be able to manage people not spending as well as an independent would, it's still going to impact them. If every single store has the same customers with the same attitude and they're all buying from independents, then the GW stores aren't going to make any money at all. So I think it's just a big balancing act. But at the end of the day, if you've got the choice of buying an army at 1,000 points, and you can only really afford that army if you buy it with the discount, and the other option is to buy a 500 point army, and you think, well, I would like to support my store and buy a 500-point army, but at the end of the day, I want to play 1,000-point games, then that's another thought process. So I think we can go on talking about that for ages. So let's just keep going through the chat. So a bit of an echo. If it's the little mic, Sam, set it to the One Direction setting and maybe the -10 decibel. Yeah, so it is on the One Direction and it's on Samsung Hobby. It's not on -10, but I can try it. Let me see what it does. Oh, -10 is really low down. I think this is going to be way too quiet, so let me know again if this is too quiet. I probably won't hear it until it's too late. Sam, for the higher tier. Oh no, I've missed some more. Is the AK interactive stuff or washers for acrylics? I thought it was for enamels. These are enamel paints, but they work over acrylics perfectly fine. And a lot of places say you need to seal them and things like that, but I've never had an issue not sealing my bases. Or even models, I use these enamels straight over acrylics, and I don't have any issues. But obviously, if you're doing like a golden demon paint job, then you might want to check it first, or at least seal it with a matte varnish before you cover it in an enamel, because eventually the enamel will eat through the paint. So if you put a lot of white spirit or enamel onto your acrylic layer, then it will pull off the colour. That's the only thing you've got to remember, but I've never had an issue because it's not been that bad. Thoughts on Decalidai? I'm thinking of using clear acrylic bases so they would fit in each battle mat and battlefield, so not to have, for example, snow bases on a desert mat. Mats from the GW boxes are cardboard. The AOS Blood and Thunder was anyway. Okay. I missed what you were saying earlier on then. The mats, they gave you some like little paper mats in the first strike box, but yeah, I do remember now they have got their own separate mats that you can buy. So I don't have any of those, so I can't give them away, unfortunately. Clear bases, we saw them when Sigmar was released. A lot of people were using clear resin bases or clear acrylic bases. Sorry. What do you think, Mike?
I'm trying to think if I've seen them before.
They're just clear bases, so you can see straight through to the ground, basically, of whatever mat they're on. You will have seen them.
Yeah, well, it was more the thing that like where they were saying about it being like, say, if you got a desert base and then you're going on a snowboard and stuff, it looks a bit odd. But then, yeah, so I suppose it's quite a good idea, really, isn't it?
Too quiet. Sound seems to be working. Let me increase it a little bit. Let's just do that, and we'll sort out the other microphone. I'll listen to this back, and I will see what the difference is between this microphone and the one I was using at the beginning when I was just talking to people. And depending on how that works out, we might have a better sound quality next show. But this is, like everything we do at Wargamer Online, a whole lot of trial and error. Sorry, Mike. I forgot. I didn't even listen to what you were saying at the end.
I did. I was talking about like the bases and stuff because I do find it, and it's difficult at times. Like say, for instance, no, you've done that desert, but you've done desert bases to. Well, I'll use the example of using the boards down at the studio and stuff. That you've done desert bases for all your models.
Mm-hmm.
So use them on a desert board. Looks fine. It all matches and that lot, and then. Because you want to mix it up so people aren't seeing the same table all the time, you then go onto a snowboard or where it's just like green grass and stuff like that. They then look out of place. So it's a difficult one. So having them clear bases just to match each whatever table you're playing on then isn't too bad a shout, I don't think.
Not a bad idea. I personally think bases can make the model a lot nicer. So a clear base kind of takes away some of that opportunity to increase the look of the model overall. That's my only thinking. But if you're if you're playing a lot of games and things and not necessarily painting the model as a model, then yeah, clear bases is probably the way to go. If you're painting it to go into a case or to do some sort of army display or just mainly as a painter like me, rather than gaming all the time, I do this hobby to paint. So for me, I won't use clear resin bases, even though it does look daft, like you say, on the different terrain boards.
Yeah.
But I think, again, that's preference, but I don't think it's going to be a problem. It's your models, do what you want. Akai is saying, for the higher tier of subscription, would you consider giving away consider giveaway of paint sets, as these companies look like they are really supporting the channel. Yeah, that's exactly what we're talking about, Kaya. So we've already got a lot of games from different companies that have asked us to review stuff. We're getting more. This morning we had some more emails from companies asking to review products and take a look at things. So once we're done with those, if we're not going to use them for the channel, we would most definitely give them away as prizes. And they could be full games, like £50 to £100 worth of products. And we'll give them back to people who are supporting the channel on the website side of things. So people on that premium, I'm just going to call it Premium Plus at the moment, but anybody on the Premium Plus will be entered automatically into that, as well as getting all the stuff from Premium, as well as anything else we can give for helping us out at that level. But that's the other reason we put the donation thing on for the minute. We've got a lot of people saying, can we send you more money? Can we help you out? And it's like, you can, but not until we've got that level. Whereas if we stick this donation thing in, we're already seeing that people are wanting to help us with that and are donating. So in the short term, that's helping us out. In the long term, we'd like to again give something else back. What else have we got? I don't have a local store to play in anymore, so I can buy online freely now. Why was that, Kablams? Did it close due to not making sales, or did it just... was it not supported? Was there nobody who went there? Do you know the reason why it wasn't there? You have to let us know. Because I think the Derby store, I don't know where you actually live, obviously don't reveal that on the internet, but the Derby store was my local store because I live there as well, and that's one of the big ones. You get all of the managers seem to go up to Warhammer World. Duncan and Chris Peach, both of those were from the Derby store. And I know that the main Derby store is still there, but I think it's Sadlergate that's on. But I don't know if there was another one that was closer. Sound is hardly hearable now. Hopefully I'll put it back up to full, what it was. Even if it was echoey, I suppose it's better to...
Is it only when you went out and now you turn around and you're on the mic that you're on now that it went back?
Yeah, because the other microphone is a much better mic, but it's not set up where I'm painting, so...
Okay, I get you.
That's why I've switched it over, because I didn't want to have to keep moving the microphone and making a load of noise with it every single time.
Yeah.
I move it. Tad quiet now, apologies, says Kablams. Never mind. Again, apologies. This is why we test this sort of stuff out. When we've got almost 70 people watching. Bombard, I used the GW Purity Seal on my Rob G and cried as I watched it go slightly cloudy. Any tip on when to and when not to use it? Oh, the bane
Purity
of Purity Seal.
Or any sort of sealers and stuff.
It can be any sealer. The only sealer that I use that I have never had an issue, and I'm touching wood because I never want an issue with it again, is Tester's Dull Coat. And if you can get it, it's the one with the red strip on it. It's got, I think it's called Creative FX or Create FX. But Tester's Dull Coat has never had any issues. It does dull down the metallics a slight bit, but generally only if you do 2 or 3 thin sprays on the model. Otherwise, it gives it a nice finish and it doesn't cloud and it protects. So, I would
do you want my opinion?
I know
because my opinion is going to be different to yours. Stay away from them. Stay away from them. I'm terrified to use them, and like there was like, do you remember the Stormcast at the store that I painted up? And it's like I was like, no, please don't do it to them, Sam. I've spent time there. Please don't.
Phil. Mike almost left the store and never returned because he spent a good part of a week or two painting up all of the Stormcast for the starter set for the store. And then I went and sprayed it with Purity Seal, thinking, they're going to get used a lot. I don't want them to get damaged. So I Purity Sealed them, and they all clouded. And then I didn't even speak to Mike. I just put them down, and then Mike went over and looked at them, and Mike didn't speak to me either. And he just kind of sat down next to me, and we looked at each other, and I was just, I'm so sorry, Mike.
Seriously, because that's like, albeit yes, it's not a guarantee that they are going to cloud.
But 9 times
it's
out of 10,
not a guarantee. Any time I've seen it used, other than when Phil uses stuff like that, because Phil doesn't need to test anything. Phil will just do it and it's perfect. But
Phil goes out when it's raining in the dark and sprays Purity Seal, and it's perfect. I go out with perfect temperature, testing it twice on different models beforehand, and then I go and spray it on a model and it just goes cloudy. Remember Curse?
It's just that horrible feeling though, because it's like whether you've spent 5 minutes on a model or you've spent weeks, months on a model, and you're all happy with it, and you want to do that last bit, and then you do it, and then it all just gets ruined because of that. That's why I'd say 100% of the time I would stay away from it. But that's just my personal opinion on it, because I just don't want to take that risk of any time I put into painting something. And so let's say I've painted something and I'm really happy with how it is. I don't want to take that risk of it getting ruined. So I'd sooner just be a case of I try and go care for my models that they're not going to get damaged and all that sort of thing.
My worst one was when I sprayed my Kurz model. I converted him so he was stood up rather than being kneeling down, and he was in a really cool pose and things. And I sprayed him and he went cloudy. And I tried olive oil because that was the way to fix it. From
was it Kurz that you did it on? I remember you did the olive oil on the corn banner, the banner guy in the.
This is the thing. Like, don't talk to us about cloudy Purity Seal. The amount of models we've ruined with Purity Seal.
Hang on. You say
I've ruined with Purity Seal with supposedly perfect conditions for spraying, because they say obviously don't spray too close, don't spray too far away, don't spray if it's too hot, don't spray if it's too cold, don't spray if there's any humidity in the air. You've got to wait for the stars to align and all the planets to be in the perfect position, and then you spray it, and then you still have to cross your fingers to see if something affected it. Maybe
or you could just be lucky, like I'm saying Phil is, where you nail it every time. It's perfect.
I think Phil is some sort of god because he definitely controls the elements. There's no way it can work every single time like that.
It might be the beard. That might be why he doesn't get rid of it.
What, the air is scared of him, so it just says, yeah, go for it. Spray your model.
Yeah. Phil can do whatever he wants because of the beard.
Yeah, don't tell him that. Surprisingly, in my area, the Fantasy Flight Game Centre is the best place to go to play, and they are a corporate game store like GW. They have great tables and even full of painting tables you can use. That's interesting. We haven't got Fantasy Flight Game stores over here, have we? In the UK, I don't think.
No.
I've never heard of them anyway. Maybe that is an American thing. Maybe we're just secluded and we don't know about these stores. But I've never personally seen these in the UK. I'll try and catch up on the chat as well.
Is it because I'm talking too much now?
No, we're both talking. Mainly me. Arcari is saying my FLGS independent is Pokemon and Magic heavy limited GW stuff. My local GW store is a great bunch of people, but the prices, and he says he needs the 20%. Except for when you buy in Ford or Arcaria, because obviously you can't get that at 20% off. But again, that's the whole personal preference, and you just do what you can. Even turning up at a store, when people came to the store and played games and took part and became part of the community, that's still a nice thing. Just because people aren't spending money in a store doesn't mean you kick them out, which was the thing that some stores do. I never did, because it was just nice to have a regular bunch of people that came in and interacted with each other and bought what they could and bought what they wanted. And I think that's the best way to run the store. And you provide games and tournaments and campaigns for people to turn up to.
It's building a community.
It's building the community, yeah. So you build a community and then they will come. Build the store and they will come. My secret to cheaper hobby: become a decent painter, then trade your service for money or models. Yeah, that's one way of doing it. Armour Freak's also saying that Fantasy Flight Game Centre is an awesome place. They even have a full-blown kitchen, so you go and grab food at a reasonable price and liquor. Brian, my GW are ace, and most of the people they provide play space with tons of terrain and variety, also painting space and lessons. And the managers do a lot of work as well. It isn't really easy running a store. It's a lot of fun, but it's also a lot of work, so helping them out is always a good thing. Kabalams is saying there's a GW, but I've never played there, to be honest. I meant the local independent store. That's fair enough. Derby store was my... Between Derby and Warhammer World, they were my two local stores, because I lived in Ilkeston, in the middle of both of those areas, so I could pick and choose whichever I wanted. And Derby was a really good store. It's changed quite a lot now, so I've not been back since I was a kid, or at least a youngster.
I'm just going to go and quickly grab a drink, Sam. I'll be back in a sec.
No worries, that's fine. I'll keep getting through the chat. Hairy Painter, if you use a can sealer and it clouds, Get a pot of varnish, sat it on that, and give the model a coat of it. It should remove the clouding. Yeah, that's good advice. Sean left spray varnishes a while ago after bad experiences. Have moved to brush on Vallejo. Works a dream. Yeah, my problem with the brush on ones, it takes too much time, and I just prefer to give something a quick spray with Tester's dual coat, which I don't have issues with, and it's just quick and it's done. I know now I've said I don't have issues with it. It's going to have issues as soon as I spray these custodians, and then I'm going to regret ever saying something like that. Something as stupid as that. Ralph, I'm going to purity seal them with an airbrush with Vallejo gloss varnish first and then matte varnish and take the shine out of it. Yep, that's another good tip from Ralph. Kabams uses brush on as well. Armour Freaks Reavers just showed up. That's awesome. Robbie Cohen is why I spray varnish from an airbrush, less risk. There's a lot of people there talking about airbrushing and brush on varnishes. Harry Painter says just spray indoors works for me. Spray indoors at your own peril. Wear a mask at least and open some windows so you don't inhale too much nasty stuff. Excessive magnetization. I just bought some purity seal. Should I not use it? If you've got it, spray it on something first. Just test it in the same conditions and the same distance that you're going to be spraying the model that you're working on, and make sure that if it works fine, you do the second one exactly the same way. Frost and Fist, I use Treehouse Studio Clear acrylic matte coating. Seems like a perfect result every time. That's good. Another product that I've never heard of that seems to work great. And Ryan just tidies up bad paint scratches rather than varnishing them. So Armour Freak at Wargame Online. Fantasy Flight used to print all the Dark Heresy RPG books and did the 40k card games. They don't have the GW license anymore. Pretty sure they also did the X-Wing game. Yeah, I know they were... I didn't know if they were part of GW or some of their staff were part of GW. I knew that they did parts of GW products, but I haven't seen them in the UK. Like an actual store. So that's the main thing. Army Painter matte spray. I've never used it, but Tyranid Dude's recommending that. Armour Freak will have to get pictures of the Death Star table down at Fantasy Flight. They recreated the entire trench run from the movie. That's awesome. I've never played X-Wing either. That's another game I've never tried. And it's rumoured GW took their rights back because they might be getting into the board game scene. Yeah, I mean, we've seen a lot of that, haven't we? With all the board game style stuff that's been released by GW, and we've had the return of Space Hawk. We've got Warhammer Quest. We've got the Gore Chosen, I think it was called, the arena-based game. What else? Probably all name all the different type of board games that are being released. So maybe we'll see a return of actual full-on board games from GW at some point. Definitely appeals to a certain type of gamer. Rachel enjoys board games massively, but she would love more. Do you think, this is from Barb's YM Scatty, social media editor, welcome again. Do you think making a proper movie would massively increase the 40k fan base? I think it would. I think if it was done properly, I know there was Space Marine or Ultramarines or whatever it was that came out and that got slated, so I didn't even watch it because I was worried about it ruining 40k for me. However, I know Warcraft got slated from the Western world, whereas over in the East, it's absolutely blown up. People loved Warcraft as a movie, and I really liked the movie. I thought it was brilliant. Some of the story was obviously different to the actual background in Warcraft, but it was just brilliant seeing it on the big screen, and so many more people then going, oh, I want to try out Warcraft to see what that's all about. So I think it would have the similar effect if you have a really good... You know what, I think maybe not even a movie. Imagine if HBO or somebody picked up the Horus Heresy story and turned that into a TV series. How amazing would that be? I think we've all seen, on Facebook, all of the different posts where people have been saying this actor for this Primarch and whatever, and done a full list of them. But just imagine how amazing that would be as a TV series. Because I was reading the Dark Tower series probably about 10 years ago, 15 years ago maybe. It was a long time anyway. and that's coming out as a film, and I'm super excited for that. Even though they've changed stuff in there, I'm still super excited for that. And I know there's going to be a bunch of people that watch The Dark Tower that will then want to read the books or get a bit more of the background from that as well. Where is Surreal? Yes, that was another thing we're going to discuss. We need to find out where he was because something is wrong. Surreal has turned up to every single show, and he was only saying last week or the week before how his what's it called? Basically, never late. His attendance, that was it. His attendance is 100%.
I am back.
Hello.
Hello.
Talk about Surreal and how his attendance was 100% and now it's not.
Oh dear.
Yeah. I love the GW board games. Execution Force was a lot of fun. That and more models for the tabletop. Yes, please. Yeah, that's the other thing as well. I think even if you're not buying it for a board game, you're getting some models to use for the game that we're playing anyway. It appeals to both sides. It appeals to board game players and it appeals to war gamers. Oh, I definitely didn't use. I need to get some new PVA glue. Normally I just use cork and hot glue it down, but this PVA glue is like water and willpower. That's the only thing holding this down. Definitely needs a varnish. Ultramarine movie is awesome. Just remove your hobby brain before watching it, lol. Okay, I'll watch it from your recommendation then.
Oh, have you not seen it yet?
No, I said I didn't want to ruin 40k. You know, when you watch, when you've got such a love for something and then you watch it and it gets ruined. It was like Final Fantasy. When they brought out The Spirits Within, I think it was called. It wasn't related to any of the games.
Was that the animated film they did for it?
Yeah, so it wasn't related to any of the games or anything. It was a separate standalone, but it still hurt to watch.
That happens a lot though when they try to make films from games though. Is normally the films just they don't go down very well.
You say that, but there's also a lot that have done good. Like I know Resident Evil, that's been slated, but I quite like the Resident Evil films.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of ones that have been bad. I know there have been some that have been bad. What can you think of?
Street Fighter. Well, mind you.
Okay, yeah.
Street Fighter. I was a kid
Dragon
at the
Ball
time
Z.
though, so Dragon Ball Z was. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
First Mortal Kombat was alright.
Didn't
Second one, not so much. Well, you were never really into your fighting games stuff, though, were you? So.
Nah. Tomb Raider. I quite like Tomb Raider. That was alright.
Yeah, that was alright. What else we got?
Chronicles of Riddick. No, that was a film into a game. Never mind. Chronicles of Riddick is one of my favourite films.
The Tekken was another one. Wasn't the best of films that I can remember. But then you do get some that are awesome, like Warcraft.
Yeah. I absolutely love Warcraft. I watched it 3 times as well. 3 flipping times. I just wish I had time for that game.
Yeah.
I was talking to Mythos, who was doing a live show on, I think it was Wednesday evening. I was still up painting heads and things and cloaks. And I turned up at his show right at the end because I didn't look at times or anything. I just kind of strolled in and just started listening. And he stayed on for like an extra 20 minutes to half an hour just to keep me company, which was awesome. But we were talking about Final Fantasy 14, and I was so tempted to get back into it because the problem with that game, I played it and I really enjoyed it. The problem is when you haven't got a guild and group to play it with, it's just boring. You have to play MMOs with people, otherwise.
Well, the other one we were looking at before is it Eternal Crusade? Where they've changed how it was originally. Yeah, it was originally planned to be that way, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was supposed to be an MMO. It was called Dark. No, it wasn't called. What did you just say it was called?
Eternal Crusade, I think it's called, isn't it?
Maybe it was that then.
I could be wrong.
I'm sure it had one name, and then they changed it to a different name. So yeah, that was supposed to be an MMO, and it ended up just being a Gears of War style third-person shooter, which is. I watched Chapter Master Valrak playing it a couple of days ago, and it looks pretty good. The running was a bit weird. The sprinting from the Space Marines seemed a little bit unrealistic, but the bolter rounds, when you're shooting a bolter and you get that thud of it, it's kind of how you'd imagine.
Well, it was something we're waiting for it to come out on the Xbox, wasn't it? Or at least there's a trial for it so we can see what it's like first.
Yeah, we need Xbox versions because you won't play on PC with me. What's going off in the chat? Let's dry this brush now, and onto the painting the rims, and then onto the wash. That was quite quick. I've done those bases in rapid time. I suppose it is just dry brushing. I thought the Warcraft movie was ace. Yes, it was. Stalker. Thomas Hooper. Warcraft just couldn't have put enough into one movie to satisfy a lot of the fan base. However, I still nerded out over it being in the cinema. Yeah, Rachel. I was watching it with Rachel, and I was just getting all excited because I was like, "Oh, they're flying over Elwyn Forest. They're actually using the flight paths. They're going towards Karazhan. They're actually doing it properly, and then going up into what was it called? The Black Rock Mountain area. Anyway, basically they were using all the flight paths properly, and then the bit that was like the best bit was the same as Mike. We both with the mage casting the teleport.
Yeah.
Right, teleport to Stormwind. It was like, yeah, we could do that in the game. So
I think it'd be good if GW and that did a film that was anything like on the quality of Warcraft. That would be awesome.
But again, you'd have to. I was saying TV series would be better. Imagine a TV series of the Horus Heresy.
Oh, yeah.
So that would be an insane. I mean, I don't understand. They must be in talks about it. I don't know. You know, with the direction of GW in the past, you would have said, yeah, they're not interested.
Yeah.
They do their thing. They're a miniatures company. But now they're changing a lot of stuff. Imagine if someone at Games Workshop is in talks with, what do you call it? In talks with like HBO or some other big network, and is going to get something like that out on the screen. That would make my probably decade, actually. I'm going to say that would probably be the biggest thing.
Well, see, doing the Horus Heresy as well would be good, because obviously I imagine there's going to be people out there like me that you want to read the books, but either just don't get around to it or just find it's too long to read. So a lot of the time you hear bits from other people of what's happened and that sort of thing. Watching that as a series, I think, would be awesome.
Mm. You say hearing stuff from people, but do you mean me just sitting there telling you about something that's amazing every single time?
Well, yeah, but it's not like you're trying to spoil anything to me.
Yeah,
You'll tell me what you listen to, and I'll say, well, what's going on and stuff like that. And it's nice hearing little snippets. Now, that's one thing I'm quite bad at in the hobby is I read snippets, I listen to snippets, and then I remember small bits. And the worst one is trying to remember names of models and stuff. I can never do it. Because it was like last night when me and you were looking over some models last night, and I was like, right, it's got these things in the box, and I wanted to make a game of it to see if I could remember what they're called, and Sam would just keep ruining the fun by, oh, it's this, they're called that. Okay, right, let me do the next one. Okay, right.
But I was playing the game as well. You didn't realise we were both playing the same game, but I was winning at
it. But yeah.
Stalker's saying, I miss Vanilla WoW. Not so fussed on it now. Vanilla WoW was awesome, but it just took too much time. The game was brilliant, but Burning Crusade was really good because it made it a little bit better for casual players. I mean, I spent the best part of 10 years on it, and I mean the best part of 10 years on that game, so I was never a casual player, but I haven't got the time to keep up with it now. So Legion came out, and I played that for a good 2 or 3 months. And honestly, out of all the expansions, after Burning Crusade, I wasn't as fussed because it did get worse, in my opinion. But when Legion came out, that's probably the best it's been for me since Burning Crusade. They did a really good job. Apart from it ended up just becoming a quest fest, so it just became World of War quest. Every day you log on, you do your daily quests. Everybody in your guild gets legendary, and you're still getting blues. That annoyed me, and I stopped playing it anyway. But yeah, it's a good game. It has its place, but I would like to see some more 40k games or Age of Sigmar games for the Xbox.
Yeah.
Maybe like Total War or Dawn of War on the Xbox. If they could bring
that would be quite cool.
Yeah, because they did the Lord of the Rings Battle for Middle Earth, I think it was called, on console, and it wasn't as. I mean, RTS games, real-time strategies, are difficult to play on the console anyway. They're difficult to create.
Well, you had, was it Command and Conquer as well? Was another one.
Yeah,
I'm quite sure that was on the Xbox and thing. See, what games have they done on Xbox? So you had Blood Bowl? So Blood Bowl 1 and 2 have been on console.
Vermintide.
Yeah, Vermintide. There's another one as well, isn't there? Yeah.
Was it Mordheim, or was that the same thing? I don't know.
Oh, what was the one that was on the 360? Oh, I'm trying to remember what it was now. What was it? What was it called? It was fantasy as well.
Is this what solo mic session would be like?
You know me going, what's it called? What's the name? Help somebody. Yeah, somebody. This is exactly what the solo mic show would be. That and me panicking because I'm on camera. But yeah, I can't remember what it's called. You must have played it. It was on the 360, so it would have been on PS2 or whatever it was at the time as well. I remember you did have to play as a Skaven at one point in it as well.
What type of
I can't remember what it's called. It's a bit like what could I say it's like?
I don't know.
I can remember snippets of it. This is
spend a lot of time thinking about it.
Hopefully someone's got it in the chat and they know what it is.
All right, let's keep going then. So next bit is Harry Painter saying vanilla equals massive grind. So yeah, exactly the same. A lot of grind, but a lot of fun as well. Mythos Garona, I never liked the look of orcs until Paula Patton. Yes, ma'am. Thordalum de Caladai, surreal being off since Phil is sick, maybe Phil equals surreal. Yeah, I think that's it. Joe Scoville saying check out Final Fantasy Advent Children. Advent Children was amazing. I loved it. That was so close to the game that it was just like an extension of the game, Final Fantasy VII. Absolutely loved it. Anyway, we're going on to games quite a bit now, probably because we're talking about it. Harry Painter saying Doom was so bad. I didn't mind it.
Doom, yeah.
I thought it wasn't too bad. I know it wasn't amazing, but I watched it all. You know, when films are really that bad, I just stopped watching them. And I actually watched the whole thing and thought, it's a bit ridiculous, but I've seen worse. Some of the zombie films I've seen are pretty bad. Resident Evils are some pretty terrific, terrible movies, yeah. Street Fighter with Van Damme is hilarious. Mario Brothers.
Oh, God, yeah.
And also, I love the cheesy old game movies, Street Fighter, Mario Brothers, Double Dragon, cheesy and perfect. Doom was bad, except that little game-like sequence towards the end. Yep.
Yeah, that was the only sequence they put in there that was anything like the game, wasn't it?
Yeah. Eternal Crusade was called Dark Millennium, says Harry Painter. So I knew it was called something else, and I thought it was Dark something, but Dark Millennium is definitely right. Brain Spider, curses, I forgot about the Hangout. That's no problem, Ed. Thank you for joining us. Wolf Wraith, hopefully we will get a second one, as I'll be damned, I want to see a live acted Illidan. Illidan's my favourite character in Warcraft out of everything, and I was kind of annoyed when they brought out the Demon Hunter class because I was running around with the glaives thinking, yeah, I'm the only Demon Hunter. I know other people had them, but I quite liked them not being all over the place. And then when Legion came out, everybody was a Demon Hunter, including me. But yeah, it was good. Illidan's just such a badass character. And I've taken, in one of the painting tutorials that I did on the website, I think this skin tutorial might be on YouTube as well, actually. It was like a purplish skin tone with green tattoos, which are inspired by Illidan and the Illidari, with the green tattoos that are on their skin. Best bit in... kind of isn't a spoiler, is it? Best bit in Warcraft was when Khadgar turned the guard into a sheep and said the spell tooltip. Yeah. It's things like that, you know, the fans that go, haha.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it made it. But then if you're not a fan, you just kind of go, yeah, that's cool. Just turn that thing into a sheep. Horus Heresy TV show, Sean Bean should play Ferrus Manus because he always gets killed and beheaded. That's very true. I think he would play it just because, I mean, it's not going to cost much. They could get rid of him near the beginning. They could start the Horus Heresy early on. Actually, I'm not going to do spoilers. But yeah, they could definitely do the Horus Heresy. Horus Heresy would be better because normal Marines are just space Catholic, which would be slightly boring. Ralph Hummel, I read the Horus Heresy books for professional purposes. Elaborate, please, Ralph. Akari saying, don't worry, Sam has been painting the same 40mm base for 2 hours now. You know what? I've done the whole army's worth of bases, Akari.
It would be funny if it was just the same base.
I took note that people were like, you're really slow at painting, so now I'm like, fine, I'll speed up. But it means the chat suffers because I don't read everything. So, and if I don't read everything, that upsets people, so I carry on. Let's stop painting, let's start reading. Brain Spider, unless they ran 10 or so parallel TV shows, the Horus Heresy could be too complicated. And he's saying, Sam's painting faster this week then. Yes, I am. Wolf Wraith still thinks Wrath of the Lich King was the height of WoW. It was a cool villain. Or hero, depending on which way you look at it, but yeah. Stephen Leggett, first MMO I played was Dark Age of Camelot. Couldn't stick with any other after that. PvP just can't compete. You know what? One of the best MMOs for PvP was Guild Wars 2, because of its balanced PvP system. You didn't need to keep on top in the arena, you didn't need to have the latest gear or whatever. You go in at the same level as other people, and there were class imbalances at times, but that was probably the fairest skill versus skill based game, especially MMO that was out there. So Guild Wars 2 was awesome for that. Warcraft has got better with Legion, with reducing the need to keep playing every single season to have the latest arena gear to keep on top of it. But you know, if you went up against somebody with the same skill level as you and they played for twice as long as you, they would win just because of the gear, not because of skill. So that was frustrating for me. If you haven't got time to invest in the game, you can't compete on the same level as other people, so that's frustrating. What else do we have? There's a lot of chat going off still.
Are we quite far behind? Oh, sorry, are you quite far behind?
Not massively. Didn't the creator, this is from Charlotte Edmonds, didn't the creators of Event Horizon base parts of the movie on the 40k universe or something? Was Event Horizon the one where they were on the ship? They were trapped on the ship? Because if it was, I don't think it was based on parts, but I think it came out that basically it's very similar. So they didn't admit it, as far as I was aware. But Phil told me about that recently, and I watched it back, and it's a terrible movie. It's such a bad movie, but because I looked at it as if it was the 40k universe, it was an awesome movie. So I'm watching the whole thing just like, that's the warp, that's demons, that's possession, blah, blah, blah. It was brilliant. But as an actual movie, it was terrible. So because a lot of you are 40k fans, if you haven't seen Event Horizon, go and watch it. If it's the one I'm thinking about, it could be something else. Could be a fairy tale for all I know, actually. Want the 40k Vermintide done like Kill Teams, yeah. We need a WGO Blood Bowl 2 league. We need a Blood Bowl 1 league, first of all, I'm afraid. Battle March, there you go, Mike, that's what it was called. I do remember that. It started off as a Chaos Marauder or a Chaos Warrior.
Could have been. I remember getting to a point where you were using Skaven, and I think that might have been as far as I got with it.
I got to the point where I finished the tutorial as a warrior or whatever it is, and then turned it off because I was like this.
Oh, okay.
Because I remember the pitch battles being, it's not like even like Rome Total War. It was just, I don't know if it was the PS1 version actually, it might be an older one, but you basically pick an army and you send it out and let it fight. You didn't really have any interaction.
That could have been what it was like, yeah.
So I just, what's the point in playing this? I may as well go watch somebody else play a game. It's the same thing. Shadow of the Horned Rat or Gift of Chaos. Yeah, maybe they're all getting mixed in my head. Why is no one in the circle tonight, says Rain Spider. Rachel was supposed to be on, but she decided to go out after work into town. And she said she might be back, she might not, which meant she's not going to be coming back. So I don't know what time in the morning she will appear. However, I'm going to get plenty of editing done while she's out. I say that, but Dave is downstairs at the moment watching TV. So he could have been in the circle of power, although you would have the most vacant-looking expression for the entire show with him just looking into the camera.
And Dave's dangerous when he has power.
Dave is very dangerous when he has power. He bans people from Facebook and stuff, so we had to remove power. I think he only had power for 2 days, and he had to get it removed off him straight away. Doom was a shockingly bad film, says Green Stuff Games. Nick Davidson also managed to catch the tail end. And Green Stuff Games, I watched 15 minutes, then walked away. Is that Doom or is that the show? quite like Doom, I treated it like a generic dumb sci-fi film and enjoyed it much more. I think that's the best way to watch sci-fi films. Blade the Templar says, right, finished, I think. Don't think I should add any more to this Gravis guy. Still need to base it. Pick shortly. Awesome. An Underdog painting is turned up. Hey, peeps. Welcome. Oh, wow. Ralph does translations for Black Library of the Horus Heresy and other Black Library books into German.
Cool.
That's pretty cool, Ralph. Nick Davison, actually a Sororitas series could work pretty well. I think anything Sisters of Battle based will work. They could bring out models, they could bring out a computer game. I think there's been, you know what I hope is when GW finally release new Sisters of Battle, Sisters of Silence models, or Adeptus Sororitas models, that people actually go out and buy them and don't do what they normally do, which is talk about things when they're not available and how amazing it is, and then when they're out, just don't bother buying them.
Yeah.
There's so many people like the retro, you know, they're like buying something or they want something when it's not available.
Yeah.
Because we had it where people weren't interested in 8th edition fantasy, and as soon as 8th edition fantasy turned to Age of Sigmar, those same people were like, I want to play 8th edition fantasy because that's better than Age of Sigmar. It's like, you never played 8th when it was out. You slated it, and now you want 8th edition. I think some people just like what they can't have, or like to complain about what they can't have. Maybe it's just that, I don't know. If people like zombies, check out Granny of the Dead. I don't know what type of film that is, but Guild Wars 2 was okay. That sits at second best, other than the first PvP zones in Warhammer Age of Reckoning. Beautiful game, promised so much, and just didn't work. It didn't work because the servers were too small. I think I played every MMO game going from a certain point, so. I've tried everything. I've given everything a go, but Warhammer MMO was brilliant, but the servers were too small, so they didn't have enough players on either side, so the PvP didn't get where it should have got. Not in every area anyway, not every zone. But yeah, the PvP was good. I just like the balance of Guild Wars 2, so that you can play it for an hour a week and still have as much of a chance as somebody who plays 40 hours a week. So as a hardcore gamer, that's probably not what you want, but as a casual gamer, I prefer it. Event Horizon, so Kai is saying, I loved it for being a sci-fi horror. Sam Neill, Lawrence Fishburne, I thought it was fantastic. Yeah, it was. I enjoyed it, but it was based on it being the Warp, basically. Nick Davison saying, Mutant Chronicles film also feels very 40k. Yes, it does. It's very similar, and they brought out miniatures for that game as well. Brain Spider saying Rachel's off skiving and getting drunk. She is. And Nick saying as long as she's not watching Mike pole dance. No. Not tonight. Wolfgang saying, am I late to the show? It's been an hour and a half. We said an hour and a half. If there's any more questions, put them in the chat and we'll go through a quick fire mic round, I think.
Oh dear.
John Super, is it generally better to base and then stick the model down? I always do it this way because I prefer it. I prefer to do what I'm doing where I'm just, you saw, I can dry brush up the whole army's worth of bases in one go. I can then paint the rim and then I can put a wash on the top of it and then do another dry brush if needs be, chuck a couple of tufts on it, and meanwhile all the other army models are painted, so this one isn't, but they're all on cork. So as soon as this is painted and all the bases are done, I just drill a hole and glue it in. So not only is it pinned to the base, so it's a little bit more secure, it's all my bases normally are the first thing that I do, so I know that when the model's finished,
it's easier in the way that you can be a lot more messier with it, and it's like you've not got to try and carefully paint round feet and all that sort of thing and dry brushing. You ain't got to worry about it.
Definitely better for me. It's a bit fiddly at first, having to pin every single model and then put them all on corks and then drill a hole in the base, but because I've been doing it for so long now, it's so much faster for me to do it this way. But I definitely understand, if you've never done it before and you go, I've got to drill every single model's foot out and then drill the base out as well. You might
see the way I'm doing the Ultramarines at the minute is I've put a small amount of glue on one foot just to get so they'll stay on the base, but then I'm just going to take them all off the base so I can do all the bases separately.
Yeah. I'd buy Sisters, my Celestine needs friends. Yes. Charlotte Edmonds, the avoidable deaths in the Aliens movies are just brilliant and are funny. Yeah. What were we watching? Me and Rachel were watching Fear the Walking Dead, and no spoilers or anything, but we're only on season 2, so we're watching that, and it's just like, why are you doing that? Why are you doing it? Like, people making noise for no reason whatsoever. And you just you deserve to die. How did you even survive the zombie apocalypse initially? Because with that sort of mentality, you should have been dead on the first wave. And it annoys me. You know, when you watch horror films, you go, don't do it, don't do it, don't. Yeah. Oh, you did it. You deserve death. Nothing else other than death. And they're surprised. How did I die? Oh, let me start with the beginning. Let's just write the list down. What else we got? Mr. Sheepster's Gaming. Hi, welcome, Mr. Sheepster's Gaming. Nick Davidson saying, I'd love one of those, and then not buying it thing. Happens in Airsoft as well, usually revolving around stuff like lawgivers and smart guns. Yeah, I just think if people are set on something, and you say you're going to buy something that's available, you buy it. Just do it. Granny of the Dead is a horror comedy set in South Wales. Watched it tonight and very funny. That's good then. Nick Davis has been slowly building proxies for sisters with Perry miniatures foot fights. They're the ones on the Facebook group, aren't they, Nick? If they are, they're really cool. Thordan with the Caladai, played EverQuest original Sam. That was my first MMO. Still missing the leveling. Still missed the leveling. Never even made max level though. Yeah, I played it. I only got to level 30, I think. I know it wasn't as high a cap as Warcraft at the same sort of time, but that was I played that before Warcraft. I'm sure I did, and then went on to Warcraft, and that took my life. And then in between gaps on that game, I played everything else going. So the Star Wars, it was Old Republic or whatever it's called. Guild Wars. The one that I did quite like was Black Desert Online, fairly recently. That was a good game. But again, you need people to play it with for MMOs. So if you can't make friends online virtually and join a guild, and you don't know people in real life that are willing to join you on it, then MMOs are not worth playing, in my opinion. You have to play it with a group. So Adrian Trevor, in some ways I'm glad they stopped at 8th. I have an army for every edition, started at 3rd though. Yeah. Ralph, can you do a tutorial on how you stick your minis on the base? I think there is one. If you go onto, it might be in, I've got different playlists set up. One of them I think is called Basics, and I think the title of the video is just pinning to cork. So all it is you follow the steps for pinning to cork, and then when it comes to putting it on the base, you drill a hole in the base. So like this one, I'll get this model. Let's say we've got, hold on, let me clean my brush. So we've got this Psycho dude. Imagine he's fully painted. I'll check on the base where the pin will go. So say I'm thinking that's where he's going to end up going. I'll look at that. I'll press into or look at where that mark is, and then I'll just get my drill a hole into that, and then stick the model straight into the base out the other end, and then snip off the excess paper clip from the other side. And it's as simple as that, and the model is then pinned to the base. So simple. But check the pinning to cork video, because it might have some more. It was a while ago I did that, so I can't remember exactly what I went over in that video. Bigfoot versus Yeti, who wins? Says James Jones. Welcome, James. Thank you for the question. Aren't they the same thing?
Yeah, I thought it was just a case of they were in different parts of the world.
I used to get called, what was the TV show one? People used to say I look like him.
Oh, Harry and the Hendersons.
Yeah, so they used to say I look like Harry. Is it Harry? Was that the thing's name?
Yeah, Harry.
Harry from Harry the Hendersons.
And don't call him a thing. That's just mean.
Talked about myself here, Mike. Could call myself
I
want.
think it was me that brought that up at the shop as well.
Bullying from day one. I think it was my smile when I had my scruffy beard, which is why I don't normally grow a beard. Because when I smile with my beard, I do just look like a Yeti.
You know what's going to happen on the Facebook group now, don't you?
I don't know if Sean's still in the chat.
There's going to be a comparison on the Facebook page.
I don't think Sean's in the chat, which means there will be no photoshopping tonight. Although I think Wednesday did the me in a dress one, which wasn't even that wasn't even called for. But he did it anyway. Photoshopped me in a dress. It's like, why? Oh, I just broke. This PVA glue is rubbish. I have to super glue that down now. Only MMO I stuck with was City of Villains. That was a good one as well. Sorry for the typos, by the way. Been working all day. Don't worry, Ralph. See how bad this show is. How many mess ups I make. Green Stuff Games. I picked up my first 10 sisters today. That's really cool. Nice. They're still nice models. They're just expensive, aren't they? You pay the premium when it comes to buying sisters. Do you not get chipping drilling through the rock? Don't drill through rocks. That's the only thing that you need to remember to do. So like with this base, I'll make sure that I don't drill through any of those 4 rocks, and I'll just drill through one of these other bits, that's all sand. So that's the only thing you have to try and consider. And a lot of the time I'll do my bases on cork, so it's easy to drill through. I think you can still drill through rock, but it will shatter. But it's no different from me just touching a base then and the stone coming off, because my PVA glue is just water.
See, that's the only one difficult bit with doing the bases separately is when it comes to putting them on. Like, depending on how you're planning on doing the bases, is trying to make sure that there's room on there for the model to stand on, and it's not going to be in an odd position or anything like that.
Yeah, it's sometimes difficult. It's trial and error though. You get used to it. Like I say, the more you do it, the better you get, and then the more time you save in the long run. Let me see if I can switch over to the other camera. Actually, 1 second. Is that working? Yes, that is working. Can you hear me any better online? Maybe not. Right, let's do the final part of the show then. So, we have Brain Spider. Fear the Walking Dead is full of dislikable idiots that deserve to die. Yes, although I do very much like Nick. He's quite a cool character. Nick Davidson and I have been eyeing up the Grishnak Sisters minis. There's quite a lot of alternative Sisters models out there. Raging Heroes has a range of proxy sisters coming out, so keep an eye on them. I got a load from the Kickstart, and they are amazing minis. It's from Brain Spider as well. Stephen Leggett, for some reasons I always end up finding Americans I get on with and guild up with in MMOs. I think I have only ever been in one UK guild in about 20 years of gaming. I've been in a Swedish guild, so I played Warcraft with a big group of Swedish people for most of my Warcraft gaming time, and it was awesome. I even learnt some Swedish at one point. But yeah, I do think you find a group and you stick with them. Nick Davidson, the Raging Hero ones are excellent minis, but not quite right for sororities in my opinion. And Brain Spider is saying, is Sam in a dress tonight? I am not. I'm just in a t-shirt and my shorts. Thordalim says, nope, just high heels and denim shirts, I believe. Stephen Leggett, do you have something fixing the pin underneath, or is it just support for the feet glued to the base? It's just support. The pin goes straight through, so as when you put in the pin through the hole that you've made in the base, you put super glue on the pin anyway, and it drags through from where the foot of the model is onto the base, but it also goes on the pin and kind of welds itself into the actual base itself as on top of that. And then I just use some metal clippers and just clip them from the other side.
Do you find you have to go careful with how much glue you've put on the pin though, because of it pushing through? That sometimes it might pull underneath the feet and stuff like that, or have you never found this to be an issue?
Again, you the first time you do it, you might put too much glue on and you just get it all over the place. But you just try it. You just put a bit of glue on first, and if it's not too much, what you can do, I've found, is if you put the pin through the base and you think there's not enough on it, clip off the pin, and then you can pull some super glue from the underside of the base, and it kind of flows through and holds the pin in place anyway. So if you put less glue on at first, you can always pour some in from the other side. Ralph's saying the sound's much better. That's good then. At least I know this microphone is better than the one I was using before, and it was worth me spending money on it because I was getting a bit worried. Stick with this. Mythos is off for the night, fam. All of you have a great weekend. We will do Mythos, and same to you as well. Brain Spider saying Sam could have at least wore a skirt. We'd have never known. I bet he is wearing one. You'll never know. That's the thing. You'll never know. Right, so Blade of Templar is saying that he has put up his model. Wow, that's really cool, actually. Let's get this up. Browser. So I think that is an ultramarine style add-on to the helmet to start with. Maybe a different position on the pose as well. Green stuffings change the pose with a power fist and with the Marnius Calgar style bolter attached onto it, Mike. On the Captain in Gravis armour.
Okay.
I think Matthew has done exactly what you were looking at doing, but you were going to use the Marnius Calgar arm. He's created one.
Oh, right, okay.
And green stuffed it in place. That's really cool.
I'll have to have a look after the show.
The mask, I don't think that's standard, is it? The Stormcast style helmet face on the front of that model, which looks really cool. Akaya's heading off as well. Do you glue the other foot as well? Yes, I do, Ralph. You don't have to a lot of the time, but generally I just glue it anyway, just because you would glue both feet down onto a base. So I do that on top of it. Brain spiders drilled into rock on bases, just need to be careful when doing so, and don't drill through smaller stones, just the larger ones. There you go then. And Akaya's heading off because he's got to drive him back to London. See you later, Akaya, and drive safely. Yeah. Really nice green stuffing on this, Matthew. And really nice posing on it. I wasn't too keen on the Gravis and Captain in Gravis armour, but this one looks really nice. Okay. Well, that's going to wrap up the show then. So I know Akaya is just gone, but I'm going to just say thanks again. Massive thanks, actually, to Patrick, Metzger, and Akaya, who both donated tonight, and that's 70 quid towards funds, which is awesome. So massive thanks for that, and hugely appreciated. Thank you to every single one of you that has turned off the browser now. Every single person that has turned up for the chat tonight. It's been a lovely one. I got a lot more done than I normally do on a Friday, and we've found out that the microphone works, so we'll have some better audio hopefully for the future. I'm going to get on with editing some videos, but I'm going to try and get some more out ready for tomorrow morning. Thanks, Mike, for joining.
That's right.
And if you're not on the Facebook group, join the Facebook group. It's an awesome community of like-minded hobbyists. All you need to do is go on Facebook and type in. Actually, I'll do it. I'll show you. I can do that because I've got technology. In this top bar, just type in Wargamer Online space community, and then it'll bring up this page, and you just select that you want to join. Somebody will accept you straight away, and there we go. You can post upon here and see what's on there. There's all sorts of different posts going off constantly of those awesome tanks. Oh, I didn't say earlier, that was an hour ago, but he's always doing some awesome tanks. And he's watching me as well, look at that in the background, dedication. Thomas Hooper has joined. It's not popped up. But yes, have a fantastic weekend, everybody. We will be back on Monday, potentially for Monday Musings, but Tuesday for definite is going to be next week's live show. So it's already in the videos part of our channel on YouTube. So once this is done, just head on over to there and set the reminder for Tuesday if you're available. We're going to try that. And if not, it will probably be the Friday afterwards. So, awesome night. Have a great weekend. Brain Spider, half the time it's me accepting people joining. Well, you're quicker than me. I think most people are, and always strikes last, as Steve always tells me. We're done. I think it's credit time. See you later, people.
See ya.